Welcome to She Sells Radio. I am so excited to bring you my interview today with Camara Jackson. And Camara she's so much fun. You're going to love getting to know her on this interview, but a little bit of background and context. She's an award-winning interior designer out of Raleigh, North Carolina. So shout out to my hometown. That was really fun to connect with her. We know a lot of people in common, and it was really, really great to have this interview because she's built a very successful interior design business as a mom of 4 kids. She's a single mom, 4 kids. So for me, selfishly, I was like, tell me all the things about how in the world you figure out how to run your business while also juggling your kiddos, because that is a lot. But I would say there were 2 main things that I really, really learned a lot from her on that I'm excited to share with you here. One is how to get past the fear of promoting yourself on social media. I hear this from so many women, and certainly I've experienced it too. We can get in our own heads and in our own way, and almost hold ourselves back from sharing about what we're doing and sharing and marketing ourselves in the way we would market another product or another service, because we don't want to come off as salesy or overly promotional or egotistical, right? Like all of those limiting thoughts can go through our head. And you have to do it today. I have yet to find a client or a business where it's not important to promote and share what you're doing. And so how do we do it? And how do we get past the fear of doing it to make it work for us? And Camara has just really, really developed a great process there. And she's going to share with you how she does it and kind of her mindset around that. And then the other thing that I think you're really going to take away from this is just her keys to relationship building. And especially if you are in a higher ticket sale like she is in real estate sales, or maybe you're selling a coaching program or just anything that's, not an easy yes, like a $10 ebook. It's a pretty easy yes for most people if it's the right fit for them, but something that does require significant consideration around the investment. Being a ninja at building relationships is so critical. And Camara is, and she shares just how she's done that over the years, her tips for doing that. You're going to learn how she sets expectations to help clients kind of through the whole process of working with her, the good, the bad, the challenges, all of it. And there's so much goodness in this interview. And of course, we get into being a mom and running your business and figuring out how the heck we do that. So I just, like I said, I'm so excited to introduce you to Camara. There's so much good here for you. So without further ado, let's welcome Camara Jackson to She Sells Radio. Camara, welcome to She Sells Radio. I'm loving just like our pre-chat, and we're talking about like the reality behind Instagram versus what happens in real life as a woman running her business versus what goes on Instagram. And so I can tell part of what I love already about you is like, we're going to have a real conversation about what it's like to grow your business and sell as a woman. And so thank you for being here and being available for a very real, raw conversation about that too.
Well, absolutely. And thank you for having me. And yeah, let's be raw, honest, and real. Break it down. Take off the filters.
I am so with you. Oh my gosh, I know. And part of me right now, I was sharing with you in the pre-chat, like I'm a new mom. And so I'm so grateful for a filter. And it's been a good opportunity to kind of be like, okay, I need to just like, I realize now what the mom life is like while trying to grow your business. And I have way more lines under my eyes than I did 4 months ago. I didn't know they could accumulate that fast. And it's just like, you know what? We need to see what's really going on.
Don't be afraid of Botox, sweetheart. Do not be afraid of Botox.
Let me tell you, I've been desperately researching, trying to see like, can you get Botox while you're nursing? And so far, I don't know. I mean, if you know something that I don't know, tell me, because I'm missing it. Okay, and your children are still alive.
They're still alive, and they're all doing very well.
I tell you what, I'm going to book my appointment right now.
But Mama needed some help, so
Mama needs some help too. I'm so with you. Oh my gosh. So already everyone loves you. Tell us a little bit. I mean, you've got this like award-winning interior design business. We want to hear about how you got there, kind of like what your journey was along the way. And then we're going to get into some of more like the details of the actual process for you of selling with your clients, what's worked, what hasn't. So tell us more about who you are and your backstory, and then we'll take it from there.
crazy backstory. So back in my early 20s, I couldn't put two colors together. I actually went to school and I was in property management. I moved to Fort Lauderdale and I worked in this design center called the DCOTA, Design Center of the Americas. It is really just $10,000 chandeliers. It's really just for the elite. You couldn't even go into the building if you didn't have a designer or an architect with you. And I started to work in that building for Walker Zanger as a salesperson. And, you know, I moved to a different showroom, but some very high-end interior designers saw something in me that I didn't see in myself and started working with me and I'm really good at sales. So they started sending me their clients, and before you know it, I am actually working under some amazing people in some amazing homes. And I really found a passion for it. And honestly, my craft is it just keeps getting better. I'm 43, I'll be 44 next month, and I feel like I am still just getting better. When I moved to North Carolina in 2006, I had a couple kids, and then I had a couple more. And then I realized when you have 4, you can't really work for someone else.
Oh, amen. Amen.
So I was working as a kitchen and bath designer for Mosaic, and got pregnant with Anthony, and then was getting ready to go back and found out I was pregnant again.
Oh
And
my goodness. Wait, I have to, how many months in between? This is so nosy of me, but this is like.
They are 1 year and 3 days apart.
Ooh, sister.
This mama was 37 driving a minivan, pushing a double stroller. I was not happy. I was not happy.
Oh my God. I could only imagine.
So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going back to work. And then honestly, I will tell you, it is a God thing. A couple people that told me I should do my own thing. I'm like, who would want to hire me? Like, why? No, there's nothing great or special about me. So I started a website. I did my own, which was pathetic. Nothing happened for a while. And then I got a phone call from a gentleman. I won't say his name because he knows who he is. And he must have found me on page 30 of Google and wanted me to do his NASCAR bus. He had a NASCAR racing team.
Nice. Yeah.
That bus took a year, cost like, I don't know, $500,000 because we did all marble. He did floors, suede. I mean, it was balls to the wall, right? Wow. So right at that time, I was really crafting and learning sales and promotion on social media. So you take this really big project from an unknown, match it up with some social media skills, and then I really started to grow my audience organically. And then that brought in more business and more. And then, you know, it's just all about relationships. I cultivated an amazing subcontracting team. I've got the best tile guy, the best HVAC, the best general contractor. Like, everybody's like, oh, you do such a great job. Oh, no, I don't. They do a great job. I have the crazy ideas. Can I do this? And they tell me if I can or not, or what it's going to cost to do it. So yeah, that is my story.
I love that it went from like a minivan to a NASCAR bus to here you are,
yes.
You know?
Yes. Crazy.
So,
and I am still friends with the NASCAR guy to this day. We actually just talked a couple days ago. I honestly have stayed friends with most of my clients.
I'm actually I'm curious to find out about that for you, because I think one of the things as women that we do tend to bring to the table when it comes to sales is just that we tend to be, and this is going to sound like a blanket statement, but in general, we tend to be good relationship builders. We tend to be very relational. Tell us a little bit about how that's factored into your success in growing your business. It sounds like that's been a big piece of it. And if so, like how?
Honestly, Lise, it has been the key. Relationships, especially as a woman, I am dealing with other women. So we have a lot in common. They want a beautiful house. I want to give them a beautiful house. They have children. I have children. And I can read people's body language also. So I'm really good at dialing into someone and really getting on a certain level with them so that we can get through this process together. And I tell all my clients this: you love me in the beginning because you want that product I can deliver. You will hate me in the middle, like legit hate me, because it's taking longer than you want. There's always issues in construction. That's just the way it is. But it's like childbirth. When it's over and you have this beautiful product, you'll love me again. And then we'll
I
go to be
love it.
friends and go and have drinks and coffee and, and gossip. So
Yeah.
it is really about relationship building, and it's not to be salesy. It's that I am in these people's homes. I am dealing with their money. I am around their kids, their husbands, their everything. So you have to have a very good relationship with them. And that is also why I keep my business small. I don't send my assistant out to meet. Somebody sees me on social media or calls me and they want to talk to me, I'm the one that goes out. I'm the one that puts my designs together. I do have a team of people behind me, CPA, book, that kind of thing. But people, what you see is what you get with me. So I also think that has been a little bit of a key to my success as well.
So they're
I'm very raw. I'm very real. I'm not hoity-toity, and I don't, I just, let's do this. Let's get this house gorgeous. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, and I think from what you share, there's two key things that I pulled out, and I always just try to listen for because a lot of times you're doing things that feel very natural to you that for other people may not. So I always try to listen for what are those things that as a listener, I can take and start implementing. And so one of the things you said that I think is really important and does make a difference is setting expectations at the beginning of that client relationship, because it is, I mean, if you're like a one-time really quick transactional sale, it's probably not as important, but with what you're doing with high ticket sales, there is more of that journey in that relationship. And there does, I think in every sales process and every sales cycle that is a little bit longer, you tend to have these emotional highs and lows. And that's something that I'm really adamant about with my clients, and that I try to do in my own business too, is just setting expectations of, just like you said, hey, at the beginning, here's how you're going to feel. In the middle, here's what to expect. And at the end, here's what to expect. But that part of why I think that's so brilliant, Camara, is that when you look at your client attrition, right? In any business, you look at natural client attrition, and you start to study, when do people typically drop off, or when do customer service issues come up? It's usually just because they didn't know that they would be unhappy at a certain point, or they didn't know that they would feel anxious, right? So I love that. And if you tell them that it's going to happen, then when it happens, they're not upset. They're like, oh yeah, she told me ahead of time.
Yeah. I'll remind them that. I'll remind them of that too. Like, remember, it's going to get better. We'll be friends again.
Yeah. Which is so great.
Just bear with me. Yeah.
Totally. And then just the relationship building piece, and being the face and you going out yourself. I think that's really, especially for what you're doing with high ticket sales, that is important. I'm curious to hear from you kind of your own relationship with sales. We were talking in the pre-chat. It sounds like for both of us, it's a little bit of a love-hate, but I want to hear from you, how has that evolved over the years? Did you feel like you were always a natural when you first started out? Is it something you had to kind of grow into?
I'm not a good outside salesperson because I'm not a bullshitter, if I can even say a bad word.
You can say I think you can say pretty much any word.
I'm not a very brave person, although people would say differently. But going door to door, cold calling, that is not my comfort zone. You come to me and I'm very good at sales, but that's also because I can find something that I can relate with them on. So sales has evolved with me as I've gotten older, gotten more comfortable with myself, and also how I've learned to market myself on social media. So when you learn to market yourself, you know what people are looking for. So it's about psychology, Elise. It is all psychology at the end of the day. But I've got to tell you, people can pick up on BS. So you've also got to be real. So that is a key factor. And I think that's what has made me successful, is my clients have seen me cry because something isn't how I want it to be, because I care that much about it. So that's what also makes it has helped with my success, is that I'm in it for the long haul with them.
Yeah.
Therefore, they refer me to their friends, and it's just one of these. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's so true. When I think at the end of the day, about how overly complicated we can make the sales process, to me, one of the things I think of is what makes me want to buy. When I'm working with someone, working with a vendor, a service provider, it's emotion, and it's feeling like they really care about me. I mean, that's it. And I don't think
this is what I used to tell people when I was training them, when I used to lease apartments way back in the day. I don't want to talk about how many years ago that was. But when I would train people, listen, apartments look the same for the most part, right? But somebody is going to lease from somebody they like. So if they can relate to you, you can find something in common, they're going to rent from you, because really all the apartments kind of look the same. So the same applies across the board in sales. I won't name any like MLM to be specific, but look at some MLMs. You know, you have so many reps for a certain line. Who do you pick? You're going to gravitate towards someone that you relate to, that we always as women want to surround ourselves by people that are better, so that we can be better, right? So you're going to go towards somebody that you think maybe has something a little bit more that you can offer. So that's what I tell people.
Yeah.
As long as you can relate.
Yeah. And I think I like the way you position that too, because sometimes I think we can swing too far in one direction where we feel like, okay, if we're going to be helping somebody with something, we have to have it all figured out. So we almost put on this false front. And what I'm hearing you say, which has felt true in my own life, it's proven to be true in my own life too, is you don't have to have it all figured out, but you do need to be able to help them in the area where you're positioning yourself as an
This is
expert,
what I
as
say to
somebody to be able
people.
to help
If
them.
I don't know something, I don't know, but I will get the answer. It's
You're
okay
honest.
to
Yeah.
not. We need to know, women, we're not perfect. We're multitasking, and it is okay to say, I don't know. As long as you say, they will respect you more if you say, I don't know, versus coming up with something off the hand or giving them misinformation. So
yeah, that's so good. Tell us about, and I think this ties in too with just building those relationships, and you talking about people looking for someone who's relatable to them. So you've seemed to figure out a really, really good way to market yourself, specifically on Instagram. And I want to talk with you a little bit about your social media marketing approach, because I think for a lot of women, they feel uncomfortable promoting. They feel like, oh, it's going to
girl,
look like I'm
I
bragging.
went through that. I'm going to tell
Okay,
you all
break it
about
down.
that.
Break it down for us. How did you get past this?
So, and this is what I tell real estate agents or anybody, like I try to mentor women as much as possible. And it does come across as, you know, we're full of ourselves with all the selfies and you know what? That's so not true. I was so uncomfortable, and to this day, still uncomfortable promoting myself with all the selfies or pictures of me at work or whatever, but people crave that. They want to connect with you. So if they see you behind the scenes with your children at dinner, they know that you're a real person with not real problems, because people don't like to see drama or negativity, but they like to see you out there acting like a normal mom. That makes you relatable. So you just have to get over being in your head and overthinking that you look like you're full of yourself by posting selfies, because honestly, that's the way it was before. So we ran some algorithms on my Instagram, and we found that the pictures of my work, yes, it gets likes and comments or whatnot, but pictures of me get a lot more. And it's because that is kind of what Instagram is for. But I don't want to just promote the blonde hair. You know, I don't want to be just the face. I want my work to stand out. So that's a tricky balance. But what I like to tell women is get over yourself. Post those pictures. And you don't have to be glam. You don't have to be perfect. It's not about that. It's just about having a connection. So that person says, oh, that person is standing, a realtor friend. Yes, stand in front of the house, take a live video of you. Don't look perfect. Have your hair a mess. It's okay, because we're moms and we're making it. And that's what's going to help you be successful, as opposed to always looking perfect.
Yeah, I love that you shared that. And it is true, like even just in tracking my own numbers, the post of me with my mug on them, they always do better. And they, like you said, they don't have to be the ones where you're done up. They really,
No.
in fact, actually the ones where you're not, at least for me, tend to do better as
Yes,
well.
because it's
So
like, oh, it's more real.
yeah.
And that will make them gravitate towards you a little bit more, which will end up being more successful for you.
Yeah. How did you get past the discomfort at the beginning? I know you're saying like,
I
you
just
got to
did
just
it.
get past it. So you just did it.
I just
Mm-hmm.
did it. And there would be days or weeks where I just go through my social media and delete all the selfies because I just felt it was just too much. But honestly, I just have gotten over it. That is just the way of the world right now. And as I age, I plan on aging gracefully and taking all the women with me and tell them how I'm doing it and still, doing fabulous houses. So just get over it. Just post it. Do it.
Yeah, I love
The
that.
only way to see the net, Elise, is if you jump. You are not going to see your net unless you jump. Promise. You don't know you can fly until you jump. So you just got to do it.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that too, because I think whether it's like, posting more pictures of yourself on social, or reaching out to a customer you're terrified to reach out to, or, breaking off to do your own thing, like,
Yeah.
I very much have kind of run my life that way too. Like, you jump and then you figure it out as you go. And not everybody's wired that way. Like, some people are super planners, and I think you have to kind of know yourself
Girl, I
too.
was
But
so scared when I started Style by Camara. I mean, we're talking throwing up nerves, because everyone is afraid of rejection. And that was my biggest fear. I'm going to put myself out there and no one's going to want me. And that is the worst possible feeling. And I really just had to get over that. And I just did it and said, I'll figure it out as I go along. And it's still a bumpy road. I mean, it is not perfect. I don't have it all figured out, but I'm figuring it out as I go.
I love that. I love that. And I'm curious too, to hear from you. This is a very selfish question for me, but as a mom of 4, how do you do it? How are you figuring out how to run your business? Yeah. So if you're listening, we are, there's a faux wine glass that's being pulled out as we speak.
You can't drink a lot to do what I do and have 4 kids. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't know. It's one of these things where when you have to do something, you just figure it out and do it. Now, I'm lucky. I have an 18-year-old, a 12-year-old, and then I have 2 babies. They're 6 and 7. So the older ones help with the younger ones, and everybody loves and adores each other. So we just make it work. So really, there's no formula. You just plow through the day and enjoy the good moments when you can, and cry when you need to.
Well, and I appreciate you sharing that too, because I think there, we look at other moms on social and we think like, okay, they've got it figured out. Like, there's some magic formula. I'm still waiting for the magic formula. I'm early on this journey, but the one thing I will say, and I'm curious to kind of hear if this has been your experience too, for me, one of the best things that's been helpful has just been really getting clear on what my actual priorities are, realizing that I have to let a lot go. Like, I used to be a workout every day girl, shower every day. I do shower most days still, but the makeup is not always there. And just, stuff in like business too, right before I went on maternity leave, and I run my own business. So if I don't work, I typically don't make money, but right before I went on my maternity leave, I had to figure out, how am I going to plan financially for this? And I actually looked at my business and I figured out I could take 60 hours of work a week, which is what I was doing previously, and drill it into one day, because I looked at what was actually making me money versus what was other stuff I was just doing because I thought I had to. And I literally let go of everything else. And my business actually grew while I was on maternity leave, and it's continued to grow since I came back. So I don't know if that's been like, if for you, figuring out how to prioritize and just like being okay with dropping stuff has been.
I mean, I'm so blessed. I've had some amazing, successful people helping me along the way with advice. And one of the gentlemen is a huge real estate agent in the area. And he was like, Camara, you are running yourself ragged. You need to charge more. The 80-20 rule. Charge more. You're going to get less clients, but it's going to be quality. And so you're actually going to end up working less and making more. And if he was not right. So yes, you've got to learn to just let it go. My goal is pick my battles. I pick my battles when I can. I delegate. I am such a control freak that it has been very hard for me to say, to my GC, hey, I need you to handle this. Or my tile guy, I can't make that decision right now. I've got a million things. Do whatever you want. He's been my guy for years, so I trust him. You've got to learn sometimes to let that control go and to delegate and just trust that people have got you. But yeah, 80-20 rule, girl, 80-20 rule.
That's so good. Yeah. And I think that it's part of what's been good about this year is it's forced us to think differently about how we do everything and to reevaluate and say, hey, like maybe there is a different way. Like you said, I could charge more and have fewer clients and
Yeah.
save time, right? And then I would imagine,
honestly,
yeah.
when I raised my prices up, I mean, my clients went from, I don't know, I'm just gonna say it out there, 10 to 3, but those three were bigger projects and better clients with better budgets.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, and you probably feel so much happier, so much
oh yeah,
saner.
because I can really truly do what I want and be
Yeah.
creative versus, being out there at the lower price range where people are just making you run ragged.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think too, there's a certain level of clientele, and this applies for all of our women listening who are in more high ticket sales, where they expect to pay more and they want to pay more because otherwise they don't trust that it's good, right? When you're selling at a certain level, there is that expectation. And it's almost like if you're priced too low, you're dismissible.
It's questionable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those
Mhm.
are the ones when you do that, those clients are the ones that's going to just drive you crazy with questions and drive you in circles. But if you place yourself at this higher level, they trust you more.
Yeah. Yeah. I love this. I mean, I feel
It just
like,
takes balls to do that. It takes
mm,
balls to do it. So you just, again, jump and see the net. If it doesn't work, you can reduce your prices. You can dial back, but hey, doesn't hurt to try.
yeah. Well, and thank you too for sharing that. Cause I think one of the things that I've taken away from today's conversation is just it's like taking action, try it, see what works, see what doesn't. And I think that is part of selling as a woman, is learning to be flexible and saying, hey, like, just because this is what I've seen,
My
this,
18-year-old, you know what he says to
yeah.
me? Mom, well, if I don't ask, it's a no. I'm like,
Ooh, I like that. I
okay.
like
So
that.
he's taught me something to the point to where I am even like, well, if I don't ask if I can put that $90 a square foot backsplash in, then it's automatically a no. So I can
Ooh,
ask, right?
I
And then
love
you
that.
get it, and then those pictures are amazing. And it's like, well, thank you, Justin. Thank you for that little snippet of.
Yeah, that is some of the best sales advice I think I've ever heard. So please thank Justin for
I
us,
will.
because I want to like get that tattooed somewhere on my body. I think that's
Yes.
awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so wise. So Camara, I want to, before we wrap, this has been so helpful. So thank you. So before we wrap and you tell everyone where they can connect with you, what would be your top piece of advice for a woman who's looking to break through her first 6 figures in sales?
It is going to take grit, hard work, and determination. You just got to put your feet in, and you've just got to do it. It is going to take sacrifices. It's going to look glamorous on the outside, but behind closed doors, you are going to break down. But once you get through that, it's on the other side that you get to really enjoy that. But this is not for the weak. You have to be emotionally tough, you have to be mentally tough, and more important, you have to have a strong network around you. I am a single mom of 4, so I have a very strong circle of females that lift me up and help me. And yeah, you just got to plow through, and don't be afraid to take chances, because if you don't take a chance, nothing's going to happen. Your life will never change. It'll never get better. If you don't take a risk on yourself, no one will. So just do it and pray. Let go and
Mm.
let God.
So good. That's so good. Thank you. I mean, it's so inspiring
You're
to me
welcome.
to hear your story, and to just see another woman who's doing it and making it work. And I really, really appreciate everything you've shared. So tell us
Thank
about
you.
where we can connect with you, where we can learn more. If somebody wants to see like how you do your social media and kind of learn from you there, how can people
Yes.
get more involved?
I'm very active on my Instagram. I'm not that active on my website just because I keep people up to date on my work and trends on my Instagram, Style by Camara. I share stories of my life on my stories, behind the scenes, kids. That's more personal, but my page is going to be all about my work, and also, of course, Facebook, Style by Camara, and my website is stylebycamara.com. Style by Camara everywhere.
That's a brand. That's
That is a
consistency. That is a
brand. That is.
brand. That's
Yes.
perfect.
Yes.
Camara, thank you so much for what you shared, and just for modeling for us how to go after what we want and take risks and believe in ourselves and figure it out as we go. I think that's something that we're all being called to do right now. I know I am, and I know a lot of the women listening are as well. So Thank you for everything you
You're
shared,
welcome.
sister.
Thank
You're
you for
so
having
awesome.
me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye, hun.